Graham has become a resident of the United States. America not only got the golfing bug, they've almost taken over.
Next week, Peter Allis looks at how rapidly the golf bug spread to other regions of the world, from Calcutta to Hong Kong and Montreal to Melbourne. The World of Golf next Monday at 11 o'clock.
Track 29. Repeat.
This week's play for tomorrow is Shades. In a youth unit in 1999, the incumbents can pursue their own dreams and obsessions, including the ability to ape present-day culture.
Here we go again.
Action replay, slow motion.
Time warp. Is it reference?
14 seconds, he's lapped me.
You'll make it, Joe, don't worry.
Can't hear you, you know.
No.
What are they carrying?
Don't know, can't read it. Close up.
No cruise. It's a protest march against holidays. They were mad keen to work in those days.
No, it's the PMs. What? There's
Joe.
thousands of them.
It must be the time it all flared up.
Are you sure?
Reference event.
Oh, clever Diana.
The original psychomasochists.
We wanted a crazy party. What better than the psychomasochists? We could even invite your father to give us a lecture on them.
Shades is tomorrow's play on BBC1 at 9:25.
Project Wall 2, Retrack 3.
Now on BBC1, the news headlines from John Humphreys.
Diplomatic efforts to resolve the Falklands conflict appear to have reached a decisive phase, and time seems to be of the essence. At the United Nations in New York, the Secretary-General, Mr. Perez de Cuellar, said he believes there are reasons for hope that a deal can be reached. Britain's ambassador to the UN, Sir Anthony Parsons, said there is a fair amount of convergence with the Argentines on a number of points, but he warned that if no peace deal is forthcoming in a day or two, the talks might fail. On the military front, the British task force has shelled the Argentine garrison at Port Stanley on the Falkland Islands for the second night running. The latest action took place in the early hours of this morning. Our man with the task force says the bombardment is aimed at demoralizing the Argentines. It's seen as a softening up before a possible invasion. 2 victims of the Falklands conflict sank in the southern Atlantic today, the destroyer Sheffield and the Argentine spy trawler Narwhal. The Sheffield was being towed in heavy seas when she eventually went down. In London, the Ministry of Defence said equipment was found on the Narwhal, proving conclusively she was being used for surveillance. More warships are leaving Britain, apparently to join the task force. Among them are HMS Bristol, which has left Portsmouth, and the destroyer Liverpool, which has sailed from Merseyside. Now, some other news. 2 more resignations over the government's Northern Ireland bill. Peter Lloyd, a parliamentary private secretary who resigned earlier today, was joined tonight by Viscount Cranbourne, another parliamentary private secretary. Nicholas Budgeon resigned last Saturday. Health service unions are calling for a one-day national strike on Wednesday week over their 12% pay claim. The TUC Health Services Committee is also recommending 2-hour stoppages every Thursday from May the 27th. Today was the deadline for entries in the Wimbledon Championships. 4 leading names weren't among the participants. Bjorn Borg hasn't entered because he was told he'd have to qualify. Ivan Lendl of Czechoslovakia says he's unhappy about the way players are treated at Wimbledon. And the Argentines Guillermo Vilas and José Luis Clerc haven't entered for political reasons. That's all from the newsroom. Good night.
On BBC Two now, further coverage of the World Professional Snooker Championship from Sheffield. This is BBC One. Now, the computer programme.
I'd rather play my own game. Come on, score. Well, it doesn't look like one, but it is a computer.
And it just shows what can be done when a computer is designed specifically to produce good graphics and sound. Now, playthings like this show us something that's likely to become very important. The future of computing is not just going to be screens full of figures and letters, but sound and moving pictures.
Well, I've climbed hundreds of mountain peaks in my life, so I suppose I have a real urge to stand on top of the world.